Hello guys, welcome to my channel and thanks for watching the video. In the last video we have learned how we can install and configure openldap directory on Ubuntu machine, and in this video we want to learn how we can manage it by adding some organizational units, some groups and users to our new directory, to our new LDAP directory. Okay, let's go. And of course, any likes or comments or subscribe from your side will be friendly and truly appreciated. Thanks a lot. First of all, we check what we have already in our new directory. For checking the directory, there is a command. It is a lab search, and after that -x and -LLL -half for the host, and LDAP :// and now you give the name of the machine or the IP address of the machine in that you have installed openldap. In this case I gave the IP address of my machine, and B for the base DN DC example and DC com. So if you don't know what these things are, as I said, you can go back and watch the last video about installing openldap. After that, I just press enter, and you see that right now we don't have any specific thing in our directory. Here we have the domain, and here we have the name of our organization, and this is the admin, the administrator, LDAP administrator that we have added at the time of installation. Now we want to add some organizational units and groups in our organization to our new directory. For adding these units and these entries to the LDAP directory, we have two methods. The first one is with the use of LDE files. I show you how it is. For example, we say sudo nano, we open a file. The file can be, the name of the file can be whatever you want. In this case, I just select add, for example, .ldif. The format of the file must be LDIF, and we use this format for adding new entries to LDAP directory. I press enter, the password of the admin in my machine, and now we are in the file. So for adding new organizational units, groups, or users to our directory, we have to type something in this file. The first one is dn, base dn, and for example, we want to use a new organizational unit, so OU for organizational unit, and this organizational unit will be support, for example, and it will be under our domain, DC example and DC com. This is the distinguished name. As we said in the last video, any entry has a distinguished name, and with the use of this distinguished name, we can access the entries in our directory. So distinguished name dn, it will be OU support, and here is the domain in our organization. After that, we have to define an object class for this organizational unit. It will be top, for example. Object class defines the collection of attributes that can be used to define an entry. This is an object class in LDAP. It will be top, and an entry can have, of course, 2-3 object classes. The second one, object class, again, organizational unit. So our new organizational unit has two object classes. The first one is top, and the second one will be organizational unit, and we press enter, and the OU will be again support. So this is the first OU that we want to use. We want to add to our directory. Suppose that we want to add a second organizational unit to our directory. This one, I just make a copy paste and we just change the names. So OU will be security. For example, it is again the top organizational unit and organizational unit, and here we change the name of that. It will be security also. Now suppose that we want to add a group to one of these organizational units. So again, the distinguished name of the group will be CN, common name of the group, and this group will be, for example, staff. And after that, we select one of these organizational units. For example, we say OU support. It means that this group will be added to the support organizational unit. DC example and DC com again. So for a group, we have to define again an object class. Object class, it will be top again, and another object class for group can be, for example, pool 6 group. And for a group, we need another property, and this property will be group ID number. So 1, 2, 3, for example, it will be the group ID number 1, 2, 3. One more thing, this is the distinguished name of this group, common name of the group, and organizational unit, and the domain. And these are the object classes and the group ID number. Now we want, suppose that we want to add a user to this group under this organizational unit. So distinguished name for user, user ID, and user ID will be, for example, user 1, for example. And this user will be added to group staff, and the group staff is under so here I just make a copy paste of these things here, copy, yeah, paste. So the group staff is under OU support, under this domain, and the user needs also an object class. Object class, this user is again top. It is up to you if you want to give this object class a top object class for the user or not. I just gave it object class again. We say, for example, account or person, can also be a person. Yes, exactly. The object class can also be a person for that. And after that, user ID again will be user 1. So with these methods, we can add new organizational units, group, and user to our directory. So we just save everything here by pressing Ctrl and X. And now we try to add it to our directory and check what will be happen. For adding new entries to our directory, we have a command. LDAP LDAP add, and after that -x -d for the bind dn. So cn, this administrator will add this file for us to our directory. DC example dc-com, and we need the password of this of the admin user, and after that -file, and here it will be add LDIF, the file that we just created and configured. After that I press enter. Here enter LDAP password. I gave the LDAP password. In the first video you have learned how we can set the password for LDAP directory, and after that I press enter, and you see that the new entries will be added to our directory: 2 OUs, a group, and a user. And now if we do one more time LDAP search, press enter, this time you see that it is a little bit different, and we have the new OUs and group and user in our directory. So with the use of LD file, you can add entries to your directory, but it will be a little bit time consuming, and it can happen that you get syntax errors in your file. And suppose that you want to set a schema for the users or for the groups, and it will be a little bit difficult and more time consuming. So instead of that, I will prefer you to use another tool, and this tool is JXplorer. It's a Java tool and is specifically for administrating openldap directory. I don't know if you have the Java tool right now on your machine, but if you don't have it, you can install it. You can simply install it: sudo apt install JXplorer. Now, if I press enter, JXplorer will be installed on my machine. I don't do it because I've already done it, and it is simple. You don't need to do anything. You just run the command and the tool will be installed. So now I open the JXplorer, but I want to run it in the background. So no hop JXplorer, and after that, where is the end session? Here. I press enter. So you see that the JXplorer is now running at the background. Here I just press enter. We need our terminal. Okay, here is the JXplorer tool, and now we try to connect it to our directory, openldap directory. Here you see that connect to a DCA, or you go to the file and click on connect. After that you have the connect window. I just maximize it a little bit so that we can see everything better. So here on top of the window and under host, you have to give the host name, your host name. In this case it is learner. For me, I just type learner, and here we have the port 389. 389 is the LDAP port. Sorry, with the for LDAP there is 2 ports. One port is for secure connection, and one port is for not secure connection. It is the port that we use for not a secure connection, because I don't have any CAS certs, I don't have any SSL certificates right now, so I cannot use the secure port. But if you have CAS certs and certificates in your organization, you have to use another port for that. And I think the port will be 689, I think. Here, the base DN will be DC example and DC-com. After that, here, the level, you can select. You have here some options. Anonymous, you can of course connect with this user to directory, but you cannot do anything. The second one is user and password. We have administrator, we have password. we can use it. If you have SSL certificate, you can use SSL options here, and SSL plus key store password. So in this case, I use user and password, and here I give the admin of the active of the directory example and dc.com. So you can get these things here. We just run this command here, and here you see that here is the administrator. So this information here must be given as the user DN, and here is the password of this admin user. After that, we click on OK, and now you see that we are connected with the tool to our directory, openldap directory, and here they are the organizational unit that we just created. Under support, we have staff, and in the staff we have user 1. Exactly here, see staff is in support and user 1 is in staff group. Now we want, with the use of this tool, add some organizational units, groups, and users to our LDAP directory. So we go here, it is the name of our organization. So I tell you that here you have an HTML view and a table editor. I just make a right click on the organization name, and after that we go to new. So under our organization, we want to add a new organizational unit. You see here parent DN will be the domain in our organization, and because we want to add an organizational unit, I just type UN, and in this case the organizational unit will be, for example, network. And here by default there are 2 classes selected for this organization. You can remove them by selecting and click on remove, and now you can add the object classes that you want. What kind of object class you add here, it is up to you, and it depends on how you want to configure and to the structure in your organization. But it is an OU, so we select again organizational unit, exactly the same object classes for the organizational units that we added, and the second one was top. We select top, we add, and here the selected classes are these 2 classes, and I just click on OK. Now you see that well, with the use of these 2 object classes, we can get these attributes. Here you can set street, for example, or postal address, or telephone number here just by typing in the right side of this table. For example, description here, I will type this is a very important OU as a description for our new organizational unit. And if I click on submit here, it will be added to our directory. So I click on submit. You see that right now we have another OU, and this OU is network. So now suppose that we want to add a group under this organizational unit. We make a right click on that, and again new. I just maximize the window so it will be better. Okay, parent ID, this time it is an organizational unit under this domain. So for the group we say CN, and after that the name will be, for example, network admins, for example, and we select again the same object classes that we have set for our other groups, POSIX groups, for example, and this group is a top group, of course. Add it, and we select OK. Now you see that here we have to give a group ID number also, and this time it will be 456 in this case. And if I click on submit here, and now if we go to network, we open it, you see that we have another group, network admins. And if you want to add a user to this group, you make a right click on the group, new, and this time the parent ID will be something else. It's a group, network admins, under this organization and under this domain. And here we select user ID. This user ID will be user 2, for example. And for the user, we select an account. And of course, it is also a top user. As I said, with the use of these classes, you can set different schemas for your groups and users and organizations. So it depends on the structure in your organization. I click on OK. And after that, if I click on submit, it will be submitted. So if I go here under network admins and open it, you see that we have another user. So here, one more time, LDAP search. And you see that here is the new organizational unit, network, and the new group, and the new user. So as you see, the tool makes the job really easy, and you don't need to type LDIF file and type so many things in that and add it to your LDAP directory, but just here simply with some clicks, you can manage your LDAP directory. Okay, guys, that's it. We have done it. In the next video, I will show you how you can add SSL certificate to your LDAP directory. So, thanks for watching.